6, 4 is about nth roots. And so a little bit about what an nth root looks like. If you notice there on the screen, that is what an nth root is. It's basically a little number that sits outside the radical. And so based on what that number is, that's what root you're dealing with. So we might be dealing with the 4th roots, the 5th roots, the 6th roots, okay, or the 3rd roots. One number you will not see written there, and that's the number 2. And that's because the 2nd roots are always known as the square roots. Okay, and so then we have the radical sign, the radicand. We call that nth root the index, as you can see. Now a little bit about that. We're going to be talking about principal roots today. The principal roots are the non-negative roots. Okay? So now, we're going to look at an excerpt taken from your book. You don't need to write it down. We're just going to talk about the different things. Okay? And first of all, if you notice, it says A. A is just a real number. So if A is positive and the nth roots are even, you will get one unique positive and one unique negative real root. Okay? If it is odd, you will get one unique positive and 0 negative real roots. Okay? If A is a negative number and you're taking an even number of roots, you will get no real roots. Okay? If N is odd, you will get 0 positive and 1 negative real roots. And then if A is 0, you'll get 1 real root both ways. Okay, is it important you memorize that? No. Okay, it's more important that we can apply that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at this very first example. It says plus or minus the square root of 16y to the 4th. So the very first thing what I need to do is I'm going to bring down my plus or minus sign. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by taking the square root of 16 and then the square root of y to the 4th. Okay, so the square root of 16 and the square root of y to the 4th. What is the square root of 16? 4. So there you go. That's the first part of your answer, right? What's the square root of y to the 4th?
2.
Y squared. And that's it. That's your answer. So with that in mind, I want you to quickly do the second one for me. The plus or minus 36, the square root of 36x to the 10th. So real quick, just jot your answer down.
I don't know. What's the square root of 10?
So real quick, just jot a yes down. Let's see how you do.
Don't know how to do. Make it sound easy when you give stuff.
This is much tougher than the one we just got done doing.
Yeah, so I'm stuck on the
Now I
screen.
have it.
10. It's just correct. Would it just be 10? Or... This is boring.
Okay, so we have plus or minus. What is the square root of 36?
6.
6. And then I saw a lot of you stop and you're like, what's another way to write a square root? It's to what power? The 1/2, right? That's what the square root power is. And so then if you have the 10 and the 1/2, what do you do with those? What do you do with those exponents? Multiply them. So really you have x to what power? The 5th. Here's the easy way. You take your exponent and divide it by 2. That's all you do when you take the square root. Take your exponent, divide it by 2, and that'll give you your new exponent.
That's just on the exponent, right?
That's just on the exponent, yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this.
Just getting tricky now.
Okay, so very first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down my negative sign. And I've got to get rid of the square root. So I'm going to go ahead and leave x squared minus 6 as my quantity. Does anybody know what power that will be? 4. There you go.
That's it?
And that's it. Because all you do is you take your exponent and you divide it by 2. What about the bottom one?
It's going to be negative 1 plus 7.
8 to the 8.
Okay, negative y plus 7 to the 8th power, exactly right. The thing you don't do is distribute your negative sign within the parentheses. Okay, that negative has to stay on the outside. Yes?
So, isn't 16 like
Yes, but when we're referring to powers, it's different. Okay? If 16 was a number like it was in the problem before, like this, Yes, it would be 4. But when we're dealing with powers, it's just like if I had this, x plus 4 to the 16th power. And if I'm going to take that to the 1/2 power, okay, you have to multiply the 16 times the 1/2 and get 8. Good question. So let's go ahead and look at this one. Now this one, what we're going to do, okay, is we're going to break this down into 3 separate steps. The first step will be the 5th root of 243. The second one will be the 5th root of a to the 20th. And the next one will be the 5th root of b to the 25th. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the 243 for right now. And I'm just going to leave a space. What's the 5th root of a to the 20th? A to the what power? 4. Yep. What about 5th root of b to the 25th?
B to the 5th.
B to the 5th. And so now the last thing I need to find is what the 5th root of 243 is. So we're going to go ahead and break this down just like we did when we had square roots. So I know that 243 is divisible by 3 and 81. I know that 81 is divisible by 9 and 9. I know that 9 is 3 and 3 and 3 and 3. So since that's a 5 outside, how many, or what do I take the terms out in terms of? Are in groups of? 5. Right? So if I notice here, I've got how many 3s? 5. So the 5th root of 243 is 3. So there you go. There's your final answer. Okay. So let's work at that bottom one.
3a, is it just 3a?
3 times a to the 4th times b to the 5th.
3 times
3 times a to the 4th times b to the 5th. So on this last one, we're going to break it up just like we did in the problem before. So I'm going to break that up as the square root of negative 16, the square root of x to the 4th, and the square root of y to the 8th. So I want you to go ahead and go through and see if you can do that quickly. Okay, so let's leave the numbers for right now. What'd you get for your power of x? X squared?
Yep.
Y to what power?
4.
4. So now the 16's probably giving you a little bit of fits. When I think about that, yeah, exactly what you said. The negative, remember, is I. Okay, now when we deal in terms of i's, we have 2 possibilities. We either have the positive or the negative. So in this case, it's either going to be the positive or negative for I. Now, if you just had the positive for I, that was a great shot. You were really, really close. But we also need to attach the negative as well.
I had 4. Not.
So you were close, just forgot the I. Okay, so the I takes the place of the negative.
We have to put the line underneath that for I?
No, you don't have to put the line. I just put the line there because that was what we kind of left as space.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then we filled in the blank later. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the next one. When you find an even root of an even power and the result is an odd power, you must use absolute value to ensure that the answer is non-negative. When you find an even root of an even power and the result is odd. So this is what you need to think. Even, even, odd. Whenever you have an even, even, odd, you have to put absolute value signs. So when I say even, this is what I mean. Even, even, odd. Whenever you have even, even, odd, you have to use absolute value signs. Okay, so whenever you have even, even, odd. That's our shortcut.
So odd would be
the odd is the answer. And so whenever you have that odd power in the answer, you have to use absolute value sign. So let's go ahead and look at this. So we're going to break this up. And we will do the even, even, odd at the very, very end. So if you remember, what this means is this means root 36, root y to the 6th, right? What is root 36? 6. What is the square root of y to the 6th? Y cubed. So we don't have a number here, but it's always implied to be 2. Okay. So if I look at this, I've got even, even,
Oh.
Odd. So that means I need an absolute value symbol around the y.
That's
You
it?
won't have to worry about the numbers.
And that's it?
That's it.
What if they're
Even?
all even?
Even, then you don't have to worry about absolute value signs. So let's go ahead and look at this one. So once again, I've got the sixth root of 64, x squared minus 3 to the 18th. So once again, let's break that down into two quantities because I think that's a little bit easier to understand. So the sixth root of 64. So what I need to think about this is what times itself 6 times
2.
will give me 64 too, right? So there's your 2.
No, 6.
You
2
know what,
times. Itself.
I got 2 8 times.
2.
So then now,
Wait,
what will this give me? To the third power because we're taking the sixth root of 18. So now we need to look. I have even, even, odd, which means this needs to
Absolute
have
value
an
sign.
absolute value sign. Okay. Even, odd means it needs to have an absolute value. So on this next one, I want you to go ahead and try that real quick. The fourth root of 16, x minus 3 to the 12th power. The fourth root of 16 times x minus 3 to the 12th power.
Okay.
What's the first part?
All right, so
Absolute value.
what's the fourth root of 16? 2. What power of x minus 3 did you get? 3. So once again, we just need to check even, odd, which means that's got to be an absolute value signs, and there you go. Okay.
What?
Questions?
Victory! Wait,
All right.
go back, please.
Okay, what's up?
Okay, why did you divide the exponent by 2, right?
By 4. It's whatever number is outside there is what you deal with. And if there's no number, you deal with 2.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so now you've got your calculators handy. Let's go. We'll see how well you can use your calculator. We are looking for the square root of 58. When you get your answer, I want you to go ahead and approximate it to 3 decimal places.
Just bring the whole thing over here.
So 3 decimal places. And then go ahead and enter it in on your expression. Okay, 3 decimal places. Doesn't take a lot of talking.
I don't know what we're doing.
Okay,
We just placed
3 decimal places.
Cassie, take my chair.
What are we doing?
What do you do?
You hit the arrow.
Okay, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to finish up the square root of 58. Enter it into 3 decimal places.
Oh, there you go. I got it. So you just type 7.
Okay, so,
Did you have to?
yes.
Oh wait, chair down.
That's cheating.
All right, so did everybody enter theirs in?
Wait, no, wait.
Oh, wait, yeah. About that.
Let's go, Cassie.
Okay. And the answer is 7.616. Nice job. Okay, so square root 58. Now I'm going to throw one at you. Negative square root of 76. Let's see how you do on this one. the negative square root of 76.
See how my calculator does.
Where's the negative sign on this? You can't type. How many places?
3.
Why? I just want to go with this.
Oh, no.
You said that. I don't know. How do you change 740?
So I don't have to wait around. Okay, so let's see what your answers are. Negative 8.718. Okay, some of you forgot the negative sign, but it should be a negative because that negative does follow itself down.
I missed that one.
Now, we have the fifth root of negative 43. Now, this one you're going to have to be creative. Another way would maybe be to think about how could you write the fifth root another way. Okay, so the fifth root of negative 43, I'm not going to give you a whole lot of time here, and then I will show you how you can find that on your calculator. So the fifth root of negative 43.
I'll figure it out.
What? Put it in? Oh, you're going
To the third again?
to read us whole place again. Okay, let's go. Enter it in. Hey, let's go. Chop, chop.
Oh! Oh. Hold on. Entering as we speak.
Okay, so the fifth root of negative 43.
We're in.
And negative 2.122. Now, how do you get this? First of all, there should be a y to the x key if some of you have that. Or not a y to the x, I take that back, an x root key. It looks like this.
How do you operate it?
I got it right.
Okay? So what you can do is do your 5, hit that x root, and then make sure you use parentheses, and then negative 43.
I didn't.
Okay, that's one way. The other way is to do this. You could do a caret with the 1 divided by 5 power because you have a caret. You can do parentheses. Biggest thing is you need to remember parentheses and then 1 divided by 5. And then that will be your exponent as well. So with that thought in mind, that should help you with this one, the fourth root of 71. Okay, the fourth root of 71. Go ahead and enter that in. Shouldn't take you that long.
Okay, got it.
And then enter your answer in on your expression. Okay, the fourth root of 71. And the answer is 2.903. So once again, you're looking for that x root key. Okay, if you still have trouble with those, you can go ahead and ask me when you have your assignment, and I'll be glad to go over those. Your assignment then for tomorrow, page 410, 12 through 50 to the evens, not number 46. Okay, 12 through 50 to the evens, not number 46.